Hi everyone, it's Lauren and welcome back to my craft room. I'm excited to be a part of a fun little lawn fawn thanks a latte hop. So we are going to jump right into the video after this. I have die cut the puffy cloud backdrop in portrait out of some white cardstock, and I'm also using my cloudy stencil, and I'm going to be adding some color to each of these little die cut cloudy portions of my background. So for the top one, I am using the brand new beautiful Kitsch Flamingo, and I'm adding some pink above my first row of clouds onto this backdrop. I'm going to keep going until I like the blend, and then remove my stencil and clean my workstation. And I'm going to do this after every single color to make sure I am not blending my colors by accident. I'm going to lower my stencil down to the next row, and what I'm doing is trying to just create a continuity of the clouds beyond those die cuts on the left and right, because it doesn't go all the way to the end, otherwise there would be nothing holding them all together. So I wanted to make sure that my clouds looked continuous as I am coloring off the edge of the paper. So I'm repeating myself now with the color Carved Pumpkin, blending it again until I like how much color I have, and I'm just using an extra scrap piece of white paper to mask off the pink while I color. For yellow, I am using Squeezed Lemonade, and I'm going to continue this process all the way down. Green is Cracked Pistachio, blue is Broken China, and purple is Wilted Violet. Here is what the background looks like fully colored, and I'm going to repeat this process on the second one. And I created a frame using one of my small stitch rectangles and reverse stitch scallop rectangles, and I created a frame on the second rainbow cloud background as well as just on a piece of white paper. And now I am gluing all of those rainbow parts onto this white frame, so that way it's all one piece, because I did cut into where the die cuts are for each of the clouds, and now I have a bunch of pieces. So just like a puzzle, I fit everything together, and now you can see I've created a frame that looks just like the background underneath it. I die cut some different colors from the Stitch Rainbow die set. I used pink, orange, yellow, green, and purple, trying to pick some bright, yet not terribly bright cardstock pieces. I don't have any neon paper, but as you can see in my little dish above, I have some neon looking sequins, and those are the colors that I used to inspire this card. The neon sequins reminded me of something I would see on a Lisa Frank notebook that I probably had when I was a kid. So I am using that to inspire this card. Bright, fun colors with also a mix of black, because that is a lot of her images. Big, bold, black lines along with very bright colors. So I've stamped my largest mug from the Thanks a Latte set, as well as a little whipped cream dollop and a heart on one of the mugs. I used my VersaFine in Onyx Black ink, which means I have a little bit of time to emboss. So I put on some of the holographic Ranger embossing powder, and I'm using my heat gun to melt that powder down. I like that it adds a little bit of sparkle without altering the color underneath it. So now that I am all done, I'm going to color in everything. I am going to make kind of a rainbowy whipped cream. So I am just taking a very light color for pink, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple, again, the rainbow colors. And I'm adding just a soft, subtle line to each of the lines of my whipped cream dollop. And then I'm using my colorless blender just to kind of soften it a little more. It looks a little wonky right now, but as the colorless blender dries, it will just create a nice pastel light look, as you would imagine, I guess, rainbow whipped cream would look like. I personally hate whipped cream, but I feel like if it was a little dollop of rainbow whipped cream, I would probably try it. Now for my mugs, I wanted to create a black looking mug. Like I said, Lisa Frank, it has the bright colors with a mix of black. So I am using my ice grays to create that look. I start off with my lightest, which is Ice Gray 2, and lay down some color. And then I bring in my medium, which is Ice Gray 6, and I cover that lighter color with the medium. And then I come in with Ice Gray 10, my darkest, and cover that up so I have a nice saturation, and then I go back the other way. I use my Ice Gray 6 to blend out the darkest gray, and then I am going to completely cover the mug back again with my Ice Gray 2 until everything is blended and it looks like a black mug. And for the heart on my mug, I am using some pinks, the PP pinks, and just going back with 3 colors and creating a nice blend with a little bit of shadow on that heart. I'm using the matching die cuts to cut those images out, and now I'm going to put together my sequin blend. So like I said, I have these bright neon sequins. I don't know how long I've had them, probably over 10 years. And I had another blend that had some black sequins, so I picked some of those out and then also used some clear seed beads to create my own little mix. I'm going to cut the mug that has the heart on it right against the edge of the front half of the mug, and then I will start putting together my shaker now that all of my pieces are done and ready to go to assemble this card. So on the back of my frame, I am using some strong adhesive tape to line the frame, and then I'm going to peel up that release paper and use my thick piece of acetate as my front of my shaker. I will bring in a second piece later, and that one is a little thinner, flimsier from a package. It's going to be on the back side of my shaker, so I don't really care about its durability as it won't be touched by the card handler. And now that the acetate is on, I am going to apply some foam tape adhesive to the back of my frame. I am using my embossing tool to add some anti-static powder and wiping up any excess powder and hairs that get left behind from my tool. And now I am going to put in all of my shaker elements. I didn't realize how many neon orange sequins were in there, so I'm going to pick some of those out and add additional colors in just to make it a little more even and not so orangey. And now that I have everything laid out, I will pull up my release paper, and then I'm going to adhere that second piece of acetate. I think it came from a package of paper. It's just a really thin piece of plastic that I use to close up my shakers. It doesn't have to be the nice fancy acetate you get from, a craft store or a certain brand. Just something easy that will keep it all together and no one really sees because it's hidden behind the shaker. I added more of my adhesive tape around that frame again and a little bit of extra wet glue, and now I'm going to line up my clouds so that way my frame lines up seamlessly with the background. I really like how this is turning out so far. It's so bright and colorful. Now for my rainbow mug, I am going to pop up the front part of my mug and then glue the rainbow so it looks like the rainbow is going inside of the mug. So I went past that front mug line so that way you don't see the end of the rainbow, and added that front piece of my mug. And now my little dollop of rainbow whipped cream. It looks a little bit kind of like it's floating on top of the rainbow, but that's okay. I like how it looks. Maybe it's like kind of like a cloud, but instead of a cloud, it's whipped cream. I trimmed off my rainbow so that way it will hide behind my frame scalloped piece there, so it looks like the rainbow is coming out of the shaker clouds, and use wet glue to adhere that whole thing on. So now I'm going to adhere this piece to a card base. I'm just using some sticky adhesive again, adhesive tape, and some wet glue behind each of the clouds, and I am going to adhere this to my card base. It's an A2 size card base with a top fold, my favorite fold, and make sure it's all stuck on nicely and my shaker is working. It is getting a little stuck here and there. I really need to buy some more foam adhesive that's a little thicker and a little more shaker card friendly. I die cut hugs out of the Scripty font hugs die out of some black cardstock and adhered that down to the front of my card with some wet glue. Here is the final shaker card. It's so bright and fun. I hope you like this card as much as I do and enjoyed this tutorial. All the information about the hop and how to hop onto the next person is down below in my description. I hope you'll watch everyone's video. It's a really short hop full of fun ideas using this stamp set. Thanks again for watching. I hope you hit like and subscribe, and have a great day.